Hello. I am live on Periscope. I am live on YouTube and getting on live now on Facebook. Hello. We're going to be doing another book club meeting. Super exciting, guys. Super exciting. So just wanted to get on a little bit early just to check in with people, see how they're doing. And then, of course, sharing this out. That would be greatly appreciated, because that's how we get the word out. And also more people might want to talk about No Excuses by Gloria Feldt. So it was a book. I'm gonna save my commentary for when we get started, but definitely make sure that you stay tuned for what the conversation will be. It was definitely something. It was something, y'all. So with that, I hope everyone is doing well and is ready for a good conversation. And then, of course, at the end, I'll share with you guys what the next book is. So that's super exciting because the next book is going to also be Gloria Feldt's a very well-known woman as well, but the next author as well as an influencer. So that's going to be really fun and interesting. I've spoken with her. She's fantastic. Good morning from Jamaica on Periscope, my family country. So big up. So that's exciting. And then what else? Yeah, guys, just hope everyone's doing well. I know it's a Memorial weekend, and despite the horror and craziness that is happening, I hope that you can find a bit of reprieve this weekend. I think that would be nice, right? I'm looking forward to, after this, doing some exercise, going to, I don't know, just live life, right? Just have some fun. It's it's interesting when people ask me how I'm doing online. I feel bad because I'm I personally am doing well, but in the grand scheme of the world, everything's awful. But personally, yeah, things are pretty good. I mean, been focusing on health and prosperity and peace of mind, and so that's all I could really ask for in life. And just a couple more seconds and we're going to get started. But I hope you're doing well, again, despite kind of the craziness, right? It's such an interesting question of how are you doing now? Because it's you feel bad because if you're doing really well or you're thriving, you don't, it's not you don't want to say that, but then you also have to be respectful of the fact that this is probably the worst time for people in their lives. I mean, I definitely have known people who've passed, so that's been sad and unsettling for sure. But we live, we move on. I think the key to humanity is our ability to push forward and to see ourselves through anything. So with that, it's time. Let's get started. Hello on YouTube. Hello on Periscope. I have a comment on Periscope. I'm doing well, just here cooking some Jamaican food. Wonderful. Tell me what you're cooking on Periscope. I currently, and hello on Facebook. This is the Dressing Room Mate Book Club. We're going to be talking about No Excuses by Gloria Feldt. Just to follow up on the comment on Periscope, just wanted to say, yes, my family's both my mom and dad from Kingston, and I was born in America, and I'm currently in Arizona, enjoying the beautiful heat with the fan on always. No matter what room I'm on, I need constant air. And I love it here. And Jamaican food, oh man, there's so many things I can't eat right now because I'm currently healing a leaky gut. So some chicken soup, wonderful. Okay, so yeah, so that would be good. But man, I have to be very careful. I can't have corn. I can't have citric acid. I can't have any gluten. I can't have any cow milk. I can't have cheese. Anything yummy and delicious right now, kind of off the table right now, which is a little sad. It's a little sad. But on the flip side, I feel better than I have in probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I'm not even that old. So it's been definitely an improvement. Less inflammation, less gut pain and stuff like that. So if anyone else also is suffering from leaky gut, please put that in the comments wherever you're catching this, on Facebook, if you're catching on Periscope, if you're catching on YouTube. Love to hear people. You need some coconut water to wash off your heart. Interesting comments. Interesting. All right, so let's get into the book, guys. This is No Excuses, Gloria Feldt. Did I enjoy the book? it's always hard for me when I don't like immensely love a book, because it's like, I don't want to say that, but then I also respect, like hardcore respect any author, anyone who puts out content. Like if you put your heart and your soul in it. So, I would say for me, this book surprised me. I thought it was going to be more like a motivational, inspirational book. And I felt it was more like a dissertation on the book. The name of the book is No Excuses by Gloria Feldt. And if you go to dressingroom8.com, you can also click on the book, get a copy from Amazon yourself. For me, I definitely would recommend it. I think it surprised me because it was much more of a historical dissertation of like women's movement, women in politics, women in the workforce, things like that. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Good. We have people in Florida from Periscope. Wonderful. And so what I think the best thing to do is, whenever I like to do the book club every month, guys, for the books that we're reading, I like to just go through different passages and we can just talk about it and you can just kind of chime in. So first, No Excuses on page 13 in the prologue is described as, the doors to equal opportunity have been cracked wide open, but too few women are willing to push on through them. We have to stop putting boundaries around our own vision for what we can do. We must act now with intention to assume our share of leadership roles. That's empowering. That's motivational, right? Because now more than ever, women are in roles and positions that we've never had before or had to fight much harder to get in the past. And so, yes. I think there's a lot there's a lot that goes into kind of why women have the journey that we have. I think a part of it is because we live in a society that doesn't prioritize women's needs, that doesn't prioritize what women think and say and feel. And so we're kind of always feeling like we're coming behind the ball when it comes to making our voice be heard, achieving goals, making sure that ownership is where it should be with us. And so we're fighting, and we're going to continue to fight. And the fight is always worth it, because as we have one woman succeed, as we have one woman's voice be heard, as we have one woman move forward in our journey, the feminist movement moves forward, right? So it's definitely worth it. What I think my favorite part of about the book were some questions, because I think that lends for a great social media conversation. So let me go through some of the questions. On page 26, she has, have you ever waited politely to speak during a meeting only to hear a male colleague offer the very idea you had planned to suggest? Right? So kind of like, have you ever felt like your voice has been taken away from you? Next, considered running for office, but you felt you weren't qualified yet. That's an interesting one, especially now, given how political we are as a nation, how politics is like weaved into every single conversation one could have. Quite remarkable. Personally, have I considered running for office? Yes, I would. At some point in my life would have wanted to do that. But for me, I'm not interested in having an endless debate that doesn't go anywhere. And I find a lot of times with politics, people have great intentions and then bureaucracy kind of sits in the face of you being able to move forward and even feeling like you're accomplishing anything. So I personally wouldn't do it. But I big up to any woman and any person who feels like they can make change through politics, because there can be change made. I just don't think my personality is suited for that. Found out after the fact that a man with the same qualifications, holding the same job as you, started at a higher salary because he asked for it and you didn't. Interesting. That's interesting. I definitely think probably a lot of us can relate to that. Love to hear your thoughts on that question. And then the last one here on this page 26 is, taken on the major burden of household duties, in part because you know it'll get done that way, and then you felt resentful. Oh man, that's a deep one. Deep question. Personally, nope, that doesn't apply to me. I grew up in a household where I watched my mom and my dad both cook and clean, so the gender roles weren't necessarily an issue at that point. But For me personally, my husband does the cleaning. He's a better cook than I am, so I prefer for him to cook, but he likes when I cook and stuff like that. But no, I don't like living with regret or resentment. So I just urge anyone, when you think about that and think about the roles that you play in your life, in your career, that you don't do something that you know for a fact you're going to regret and or be pissed about later, because that is an intentional choice. So why would you do that to yourself? Makes no sense, right? So nope, that doesn't apply. Now, she talks about social norms and self-limitation on page 29. I'll read a little bit about it. Gaining the right to an equal opportunity to play soccer is one thing. Choosing to take the opportunity to play is another. Self-limitation, despite social and legal advances, can be the result of many factors. Social norms that are hard to overcome, particularly those that overemphasize the qualifications of niceness, deference, and attractiveness to the opposite sex. Individual personality traits, or more likely, the relationship between the two and how they interact with one another. Studies show that boys and girls already have incorporated a clear sense of their own genders and what behaviors are assigned to each gender by the age of 2. Which doll likes to clean the house? The child of either sex typically points to the female doll. And who is more likely to go work or play action games? The male doll. The internalization is hard to shake. True facts, she speaks for sure. She talks about 8 lessons, which I thought were really interesting. Let's go through each one. So this starts on page 57. If you do have a copy of the book, you can follow along. 1, all worthwhile accomplishments start with a vision, not a small incremental vision, but a bold, audacious, bigger than yourself vision. 2, a leader is someone who gets things done. Booyah. 3, there's power in your story. Yes. 4, timing is key. Abso-freaking-lutely. 5, use what you've got. What you need is usually there if you can see it. So that's like perception, believing in yourself, being resourceful. Yep. Controversy is your friend. Fascinating. 7, a movement has to move. Power and energy come from moving into new spaces, not from standing still. Deeply, deeply powerful. You cannot expect new change or innovation or disruption if you refuse to do new things. Yes. 8, this is the leadership lesson I hold most dear, for it's a good summation of Margaret's life. She's referring to that person in the book. Life has taught me, she said, we must put our convictions into action. So again, thoughts are great, beliefs and ideas are great, wonderful. What you gonna do about them? What you gonna do? Yes, I believe it. So then throughout this, she then kind of has chapters dedicated to each of those different powers. So that was helpful. She has another phrase that I don't know if you guys have heard of, but I thought this would be interesting to talk about: power over. So power over is passé. Power to is the next iteration of leadership. Almost anyone can employ power over, but it takes skill to employ power to. It takes skill to lead others rather than to force, require, coerce, or lord over them. Leadership power is much different from the use of force to gain acceptance of a goal. Power over does not require that people aspire to the same goal, but successful power to, or leadership, does require goal congruence by consensus, trust, or government of the people. Power over focuses on tactics for gaining compliance, while leadership focuses on getting answers and solutions in order to be able to accomplish something for mutual good. Power over makes people feel powerless, even if it isn't force or brute power, but a manipulative power such as political dominance. The feeling that one has to control over one's choices makes her disgruntled, angry, or passive aggressive. Power to supports and enhances whatever power the individual brings to a project, workplace, relationship, or civic activity. It abhors coercion. It opens up the possibility of choices. The ability to choose is what makes us human. Choosing is the basis of morality. Power over is immoral. Power to is responsibility. Very deeply interesting stuff there. The breakdown of like thinking about power, thinking about leadership. Really interesting. Also interesting because I'm currently reading this other book about leadership. So that's fascinating, guys. So there's that. Now let's also talk about controversy, because I thought that was interesting. So on page 153, under power tool number 4, right, we talked about the 8 powers that she mentioned. She goes into saying controversy. Embrace controversy. It gives you a platform. It nudges you to clarity. It is a teacher, a source of strength, and your friend, especially if you're trying to make a change. Yes. I would say, though, so to be honest, as a woman, I think we have to kind of stir things up, especially in the workplace, especially when we're trying to accomplish things. But sometimes I have found in my career that it can be challenging as a woman of color, because sometimes it feels like we have to be even more cognizant of not being overly appearing as overly aggressive or overly abrasive, as I've had to deal with this, I know, and I've heard other women of color in corporate America deal with that as well. So it's interesting, right? Because when I see the word controversy, I like kind of shudder, because I'm just like, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean in your career? But I get what she's saying. And, to be honest, you know, in life, you do have to take the perspective that you're not beholden to anyone or any job or anything in life, right? You can always get a new job. You can always start a new business. You can always start a new venture. You can always be and accomplish whatever you want to do in this world. You cannot think that, oh man, I'm doing this, and so I can only do this. Nonsense. I mean, it is, if that's your reality, then that's the life you're living. Hello, welcome. But if you know the truth is you can accomplish, you can soar, you can achieve whatever you want to. But it's a mental game, right? It's all about that mindset here, because most people live with immense limitation. I can only do this. I've only done this for X years. I only have this amount of power in my life. And then your life is a reiteration of what's in your mind. So I constantly try to talk about the power of mindset on blog posts or in content that I'm doing, because people really don't get it. Like, if you change your mind, you change your life. But what they want is have a negative mindset, and they want to have a positive life. Does not compute. Cannot happen. Boom, boom. Get it together. Just get it together. And it's funny too, because most people don't even realize how negative they are, right? The constant iteration of excuses and limitation, and I can't do, and this is only working, and this is against me, and da. I don't know about you, but I know I was bored of that narrative for myself. So I flipped the script and haven't looked back, and it's been freaking amazing. I encourage you to do the same. So there's that, guys. Now she has Carpe de Chaos, which is really interesting. Another power tool number 5, Carpe de Chaos. Change creates chaos. Today's changing gender roles and economic turbulence may feel chaotic and confusing, but chaos also means boundaries become more fluid. These are the moments in time when people are open to new ways of thinking. You can accomplish a lot and have access to unprecedented opportunities that you might not otherwise have. I say Carpe de Chaos, for in chaos is opportunity. That is really actually very symbolic for what we're dealing with this pandemic, this global pandemic, right? One could argue that it is pure chaos that's happening, country to country, nation to nation, person to person. It's chaos. We're all dealing with chaos in a different way. And I think what she's suggesting is, instead of fearing, a lot of people are living with a lot of fear right now. And I get it. It's an animal instinct. Right? It's what has kept us alive for all these years. So yes, I get it. But if you ever want to make your dreams come true, you have to release the fear. You have to release it. You have to get it out of your system, get it out of your mind. And when we deal with chaos like COVID-19, embrace it. See the opportunity. Don't focus on all the things you can't do. Oh, well, I lost my job because your job maybe required that it be an in-person thing. Okay, but what can you do online? What can you do that's virtual? What can you do that's different? This idea that we can only do one thing one way is why so many people feel stuck and so lost in this chaos of COVID-19. Change the game for yourself. Embrace the chaos. Carpe the chaos, guys. Carpe the chaos. That I really do agree with. Now, next she has some talk about money, which is some interesting questions. I thought I don't necessarily talk a lot about finance on the Dress for Mate platform. Because I feel like right now I wouldn't say that I'm a financial expert. So I really believe in kind of creating content that's true and authentic to who I am and the life I'm living. So as I learn more about money, as I have continued financial success, I will definitely continue to drop more content on that. But let's see what she has to say. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm reading from No Excuses, Gloria Feldt. This is the May Dressing Room Mate Book Club. How do you define money? Is it a means or an end? Wow, that's like a classic question that I feel like it should definitely be addressed more when we're growing up as kids, because so much of what we learn about money is like through other people and the mistakes they're making. And I think that narrative iteration isn't necessarily the best learning tool. We could kind of come to it with a more positive, with a more open-eyed, open approach to it. First of all, money is currency. Money is energy. Right? It is given, it is taken, it is never the king and the queen of our lives. However, we live in a society where it is, right? Money is more meaningful than human life. Call a spade a spade. Like, let's just keep it real, right? Why do we have homelessness? Why do we have poverty? Because money matters more than human life to people. Cool. Not to me. I don't agree or prescribe to that belief system, but that's what I have interpreted by the decision-making abilities that I see people making in this world and when they're in positions of power. And is it means or an end? I believe it's means. Some people believe it's the end, right? Some people believe the most amount of money you can hoard is kind of where you should be at in life. That's an interesting approach to life. We'll see how that plays out. I think the more greedy and the more selfish and the more obsessed we are with money, the more problems we deal with in society, just to be frank. And if we looked at money a little bit differently, and we looked at money as more of energy, and really that it's never something that's evil, but it's how we use that energy, right? You can have great intentions, but then if you don't have great intentions and then you implore that upon others, that's how we have problems, right? So money is the same. Relate to money. How important is it to you that you have earned it yourself? Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very important. Earning money to me is something that I equate money also with having a power in this world. Not because I think money is powerful, but I think people make money powerful, right? So other people's perception is creating societal norms for us. And that's what we have to live with. That's what we deal with. And having and earning money is important because it gives you the right and the opportunity to spend it, to donate it, to use it. So it can be extremely important when you earn it yourself. When you don't earn it yourself and you get it from other people, what does that also create? To me, how I've lived with it is that means that people can take it from you. When you don't earn it, then people have power over you in your actions and how you live your life. So earning money has always been something that I've valued, and I have found it to be important, because whenever you're not earning it, then you're beholden in your actions to others. And I told you, I don't believe in that. I believe in living a life where you are not beholden to anyone, anything. Nope. That way, when you have to walk, when you have to go and change paths and you have to pivot, you can pivot, no problem, right? But whenever you feel beholden to something, then you feel stuck and you feel like you can't live the life you want. And that's slavery within your own mind. And I don't believe in that. Use money as power over, power to, or pay the rent. Power to, right? We were talking about with the value, the difference between power over and power to. Money is something that should be used for greatness for yourself, generational greatness for your community, greatness for the things that you support, the things that are meaningful to you. It should pay your rent. Yeah, it should pay for the needs and necessities of life, but it should not, again, you shouldn't be beholden to it. Right? There needs to be freedom, full freedom of existence. That way, when you have full freedom, you can do and soar. You are like the ultimate phoenix, is my belief system on that. View the intersection of money, sex, power in your life. Interesting. So money has I'm just answering for myself, right? So money has no connection to me for sex, right? I don't feel like in my life I've had to go down that path in exchange for money. Wow, when it comes to power, I have seen that, growing up, I think a lot of us can relate to that. You equated money with power because your parents maybe gave you money, or you did something and you got money. So you saw that someone had power over you because until you did X, you didn't get paid. So there's definitely an intersection between money and power. For me, I haven't had the connection between money and sex, but I have seen that, right? When women and people exploit themselves in videos. And listen, I got you. Like a good twerk sometimes is fun, but when we're doing that and then you have to do it to get paid, to get that paycheck, that's an interesting intersection, right? So that's my thoughts on that. In what ways are women resisting using the financial power too that the world is trying so hard to give us? Ooh, I'm going to leave that, guys, for you to answer. I'm going to ask the question again, put the comments here in Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. In what ways are women resisting using the financial power too that the world is trying to so hard to give us? That's fascinating. Like I said, she definitely has some interesting questions. And since we're nearly wrapping up, let me see if there's some other really good things that she talked about. She has on page 232, power tool number 6, wear the shirt. Declare publicly your gut level commitment to whatever you decide to do with your one wild and precious life. What's happening and why? What's your vision of what you think should happen? How can you make it happen? Go stand in your power and walk with intention to make it so. I love that because, guys, part of the principles of why I blog and create content is this idea of like helping people understand the power of living with purpose and standing in your truth, your authentic truth, whatever that is for you. You have to define that for yourself. But I love that. Wear the shirt and just like drop the mic, really. Interesting. This is some interesting questions here. So let's go through this. Page 248. What makes you angry enough to take action? Ooh. I think I was talking about that in another video, or maybe it was a conversation. It's hard to keep up with my mind. There's constant thoughts, guys. I would say what makes me angry enough to take action whenever I see marginalized people being harmed. I think that to me is a big trigger. As a person of color, as a woman, I have been attacked, and whether it's verbal or physical, through, being who I am, just living in my truth as a Black woman, right? And so that makes me angry. That makes me angry when I see people who are being attacked, who are being killed, who are being degraded for just living their truth, just being who they are. So action, just to clarify, what do I mean by that? What for me, that's probably going to be voicing my opinion. That's probably maybe supporting causes or organizations, maybe creating content. That's the type of action I've taken so far in my life. I haven't been the person to like, ooh, let's go protest, let's go do that. I don't know. For me, in my spirit, I don't feel like not that I don't see value in that. There's definitely value in protesting. There's definitely value in public displays of voicing your opinion. For me as a person, it hasn't like been something that I've gone down the road and done, but I respect people who feel like they have, and it's helped make a difference. For me, I've seen it get done, and I've seen it have some effect, but not. And I'm not obviously not talking about like civil rights, all that. I'm talking after, like currently in my lifetime. I haven't necessarily like Occupy Wall Street, for instance. I was in New York at the time when that was happening. And it was just like, for what? For why? Like, and when I had to go down that area, just kind of dealing with the physical, the smells, the like, all of that. It was just like, but really? But like, okay. So I found it confusing. So not for me necessarily. What makes you inspired enough to take action? What makes you inspired enough to take action? That's interesting. So for me, I would say wanting to help other people. I think I've always been a person where I want to live a life of service, being able to motivate people. I know that some people have told me that they feel like I help, kind of kick that fire under them and really help them move forward with goals and things that they want to accomplish. And I know that if I can use my voice to help you have a better day, for you to make better decisions in your career, for you to feel more of an empowered woman, a stronger mother, a deeper, more profound sister, right? Like those are things that inspire me. Just being able to be a person who can help other people do the work that they want to do in their lives, that deeply inspires me. Because I think if we all kind of took that servant attitude of like, I'm here to serve, and whatever that service may be for you, right? For someone else who's maybe like a fitness thing, and they can help people like get their lives together with like being healthy and nutritious, that's their service. For other people who they're authors and look, this is what we're doing, the book club, right? They're sharing their message. Thank you, Monet on Facebook. You're awesome. You're awesome. I appreciate your time. Thank you. And for your kind words. You're amazing. whatever your talents and your skills are, that's how you serve in this world. That's how you get your message out, guys. And it doesn't have to require that much time. It doesn't have to require that much effort. It's just about knowing what your skill sets are and just going out and doing it and creating that content and getting the word out about what you do and what you say and what your message is. That's all that it is. So that's what should be inspiring us all. Now, the next question she has is, think about mentors you've had in your life. How did they influence your career, public service, or personal life choices? Interesting. Mentors in my life. So that's always been a really funny question, because so much of my life has been consuming other people's content, but then also like really being my own source of motivation. I came from a household where just being okay was completely not acceptable. Unfortunately, even being excellent was like, okay, try again. Like, and so I had to constantly, I was just telling a friend of mine that like the not enough narrative was definitely a long line of like thoughts and things running through my mind, right? I would get 100, not enough. I would do this, not enough. And I constantly now as an adult have to constantly affirm, like, Natasha, you are good. Natasha, you are doing good. Because it always, I grew up just with that hardcore narrative of like, you're just never enough. Like, do good, do better, do more. Like, it's just keep going, always chase the big nickel. So my influences would definitely be my father. He drove me insane, but it's helped me accomplish a lot in my life. So there's that. I would say for personal and career choices. My husband, I met him at 18. We've been together. It'll be 16 years in September. It's been amazing. He's a mentor. He's someone who strengthens and deepens my commitment to being the Natasha nurse I want to be in this world. So he has helped influence personal and career choices. And then one of my greatest mentors, I never met her, but Maya Angelou, she taught me that you don't have to be one thing in this world. And I do a lot in my life, right? If we ever have a conversation, or if you happen to be like in my network, you know that I don't just do one thing. I'm not like, oh, I'm just a blogger, or oh, I'm a podcaster, or oh, like I do a lot of different things. And I learned that that was okay, right? I got permission from one of the greatest people who've ever walked this earth, which was Maya Angelou. She showed us all that you don't have to be one thing, because you can't be one thing. To be human is to be more than one thing. Humanity is about diversity. It's just about doing many different things at once, at different stages in your life. Just do you, right? And just kind of give yourself permission to be that free, to do the different things you want to do in this world. So that Malcolm X, he influenced me in knowing that there's power and beauty in being a Black person. There's power and beauty in saying no to injustice. There's power and beauty in standing up for your community and saying enough is enough, right? Because if enough of people do that, then we have change. And we invoke a new world for ourselves. So those are just some of the mentors and people that have influenced my personal and career choices. And then let's see, she has, okay, so we'll go over a couple more things, then we're done, guys. Then we're done. Then you're gonna go enjoy your Saturday. Power tool number 7, create a movement. Things don't just happen, people make them happen in a systematic way. Don't agonize, organize. As labor movement leaders often say, apply the movement building principles of sister courage and you will realize your vision. Guys, I think a big tenet that you'll get from the book is the no excuses theme, is that there's no excuse not to have progress. There's no excuse not to have a movement. There's no excuse not to move forward. So I think that that's what you're going to get from the book. And then anything else? Oh, yes. I do want to say this. So she has on page 313, again, No Excuses by Gloria Feldt. The 7 C's of controversy are: controversy is the courage to risk putting yourself convictions out to the world, because it gets people's attention. It gives you a platform to present yourself, present your case, to teach, engage people, define, persuade. Often this causes conflicts, the clash of uncertainties from which new social realities are constructed, which forces people to clarify their goal, their values and beliefs, and that leads to change. So that's another way to think about controversy and why it's maybe not so bad, right? So that's cool. And then power tool number 9, I'd like to end with this before we summarize. This is tell your story. Your story is your truth, and your truth is your power. Others need and want to hear it as you need and want to hear theirs. So this is truth, right? This is truth. So like I said, this book surprised me. I definitely thought I was in store for reading a different thing. So that's why when I read it and I was going through and I was like seeing all this history, I mean, from like Susan B. Anthony, like old school women feminism history stuff. You know, it's just like, whoa. Okay, so Monet on Facebook says, I'll mail you a comp copy of my book to do this with, okay? Help more mamas. Yes, Monet, let's talk. Email me at Natasha@dressingroom8.com. Let's have a conversation, okay? Natasha@dressingroom8.com. I definitely have had authors come on here and talk about their book. So if you want to have a conversation about that, let's do that. Okay, guys? So with that, again, what did we do? What did we cover today? No Excuses by Gloria Feldt. The book surprised me. It was interesting. It was definitely moving. I think more of a historical dissertation than I would have enjoyed, and I liked, because I have found, sadly, as I go more and more through history, is that history depends on who you're talking to and what we're talking about, right? I find that history, unfortunately, is not as inclusive and as holistically true as it should be. And so I'm kind of like a little bit salty right now about it, because I'm just like, oh, this didn't really happen. What do you mean, right? And so I'm kind of going through a grieving process with history and understanding that history has not been what I thought it was. So whenever I read a book and it like dives way into history, I'm just kind of like, girl, bye, kind of like attitude. And I'm working on it. Ironically, my husband is like diving deep into history and really kind of enjoying understanding what we didn't know growing up and what we still don't know currently. But I'm working my way through it. I am not perfect. I am Natasha Nurse. I am a blogger. I am a avid book reader. I'm a content creator. I'm a speaker. I thank you for coming on Dressing Room 8 May 2020 Book Club. We discussed No Excuses, Gloria Feldt. If you felt like we didn't talk about something and you had some follow-up thoughts, please, here on Periscope, on YouTube, on Facebook, let your girl know. And then, of course, let me tell you what our next book will be so that you are in store. So the next book is on my Kindle, guys. Look at my beautiful case for my Kindle that my husband got me. This is like my favorite, ultimate favorite painting. If you know what this is, put it in the comments. Woohoo! Very, very famous. And the next book we are reading is this, A Life Full of Glitter. Now, this is written by, let's see if I can get the page up for you guys. Here we go. This is what we're reading, guys. I bought the book, A Life Full of Glitter, A Guide to Positive Thinking, Self-Acceptance, and Finding Your Sparkle in a Sometimes Negative World by Anna O'Brien, creator of Glitters Plus Lasers, right? Glitters and Lasers. She is awesome. She has like 6 million followers on TikTok. She's bomb. Love her to death. Been following her for years. So definitely, if you're interested in finding a life full of glitter, you're going to read this book with me. You're going to come back here for June, and this is what we're going to talk about. Okay, guys? So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining. This was oh so fun. So let me go say goodbye on all the platforms, and then go enjoy your day. Go live your life. Enjoy the holiday weekend. It's I know it's hard with COVID, but please take some time. Van Gogh. Is it Van Gogh? Who is she? Right? Is she right? Come on, guys, on Facebook. Is this by Van Gogh? Come on, let her know. But thank you, Monet, for coming on and joining me. You're amazing. I can't wait to hear from you. Email me, Natasha@dressingroom8.com. I want to hear all about your book, and let's chat. All right, so bye, guys, on Periscope. It's been fun. And then, of course, YouTube. Love you.